fabulous fabric from the land of the five rivers.
Years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
We're back, man. We're back, man. Sadly, we're back after a rough weekend of the Raiders losing. Anytime the Raiders lose, man, I don't. It's not a good feeling, man. I don't want to talk to anybody. I did a live. Hey, y'all need to check me out, man. On Sundays, I go live during the game. This Sunday was tough, man.
Yeah,
and I stayed.
It wasn't just like a
through.
normal loss.
I stayed all the way through. You were just telling me like you walked away at the third quarter or something.
Yeah, I came back to it, but yeah, I had to walk away for a few minutes.
Yeah, man. Like, and I hung in there. Man. But yeah, man, check me out on Sundays. I'm gonna try to make it every Sunday, man. Not every Sunday. This Sunday, I might be in Las Vegas. It's a possibility. I'm leaving it out there, y'all. If anybody's in Las Vegas, let me know. If you see me out there, man, hey, say what's up, man. We gonna have a great time, hopefully, and we're gonna get into it. We're gonna talk about the Raiders and Steelers preview. But before we get into it, man, let's talk about the game. Because I watched it live. I watched it live. But you know, when you let it sit and you think about it and you're like, what actually just happened right now? And I mean, like I said after the game, like, hey, you know what? Let's burn the tape. Let's forget about it, act like it never happened, and walk away. Like and move on to the next game. But there were some things that I seen that I'm not sure if they're going to go away. But what were your thoughts, man? How are you feeling when watching the Raiders against the Bills this weekend?
I hope that they're watching the tape every single day this week, to be honest with you. And then once you make those corrections, then let's burn it and move on. But there's so much to fix, man. Like we talked about it in the preview show, right? Get the ball out quick, take advantage of that aggressiveness. You know, Buffalo came up to the line of scrimmage, was blitzing early on. In the first drive, we've seen that, right? We've seen the success of getting the ball out quick, hitting those screen passes. But when you don't make those adjustments and you go to the well a little bit too much early, you start to pay for it. So that's what we've seen happen, and man. And it was just like when the Raiders lost traction, it's just they could never get control back at all, regardless of what was happening. So, you guys, this is one of those ugly wins in the season. I feel like majority of teams have this at least once, and I just don't want this to be a continual thing. Like, if we get beat like this, let's make this be the last time that we lose in this fashion.
But it was crazy the way it started, man. They went 75 yards, scored a touchdown.
Easy.
But to put in perspective how bad it was, the next 7 possessions, they had a total of 120 yards. So
you had 13 possessions in or 13 plays in the second half.
Man,
like you can't do anything. So it's just one of those games, man. There's not much positives.
And I knew this was bad when I looked it up, but the turnover differential is one of the worst in the league. We haven't forced a turnover this whole season.
Nope. That's why all this preseason hype, man, about creating turnover, like until we see it, you know what I mean? They were doing it in preseason, but regular season games, man. That's when everything matters. I don't care about all that other hype. Like, now it matters. So, and look, let's be honest. We're about to face a Steelers team that their defense gets after it. They just got 4 turnovers off the Cleveland Browns. So, look, they do it. You know what I mean? They're opportunistic. Like, what is it going to take, in your opinion? What is it going to take for the Raiders? Is it a coaching decision? Is it player personnel? Is it both? What is it going to take for the Raiders to be opportunistic on the defensive side of the football?
Hey, at the end of the day, if the Raiders this season or going into the season, like everybody was talking about, they're going to take this next step. They're forcing turnovers in training camp. You know, people were kind of hyping up a little bit because, you know, they made some moves in offseason. It seems like they probably, you know, they weren't going to be like an all-pro defense, but they were going to be better. But at the end of the day, the defense was only going to go as far as their D-line. And I'm not sure if that's something that's on the – I don't know if the solution's on the roster.
No, it's not, to be honest. And I think you know that. Like, yeah. Watching this team 2 weeks in, Max Crosby wasn't, you know, a factor by any means. So, look, man, we talk about it all the time. Somebody's got to emerge on the other side, and that just has not happened yet. Malcolm Kuntz, you know, it's flash in the pan here and there. He generates pressure. But really, you got to me, Pharaoh, it's the interior. I think Tyree and Malcolm, that side would unlock a little bit if we had pressure on the interior. Bilal Nichols, bad signing. Byron Young, we still need a sighting from him. Jerry Tillery, he flashes here and there, but I mean, we need that presence on the interior that is a factor.
Yeah, and it's not even just pass rushing. I kind of gave like a little bit of a warning about how the Raiders need to, one of the keys to the game, one of the matchups, one of the things that they need to look for, like to stop, was James Cook.
Yeah.
And the reason why I said it was because I knew that he was going to take that next step. I seen that, okay, he's an emerging talent, but it wasn't just that. It was what they did the week prior. I didn't feel like they were – I felt like the Broncos were still efficient running the football. I'm like, it didn't really look too good. I think it was just one of those – I know they didn't allow like 100 yards in rushing, but they still averaged like, 4.3 yards rushing per carry. And then – now you have James Cook, who has 17 rushes, 123 yards, and you know, he has 4 receptions for 36 yards. Man, he has a career day. I think I might have been his first 100-yard game of his career, which, you know, it sucks that happens to the Raiders, but you know, it is what it is. But the total team rushing was 183 yards rushing.
Give me one good takeaway that you see from this defense that you didn't see last year.
I feel like Divine Diablo looks a little bit better. Yeah. I feel like I like Marcus Epps was hitting folks.
Yeah, I agree
out there, but you know what it is? If the D line was there, it wouldn't be as bad as we're seeing right now. The major disappointment right now is that the fact that the D line is making no plays. I'm talking about the run game, pass rush. They might as well just call a day off, like not even show up to the game.
Gosh, bro. And what was this? We were talking about the strength of the defensive line going into the season, right? The depth that they created, what they were flashing in preseason. All of that has gone away. All that is – if your name is not Max Crosby, you're not producing anything to this defensive line. But one thing, I'll not to be completely negative, so I'll give some positive. I feel like the defensive scheme has been simplified. I feel like guys aren't thinking as much.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a problem with also being too simple and playing too soft of a coverage. Like, it's not going to work. Like, if you're not generating pressure with 4 people, you can't just sit back and play that soft, because that's when you're going to get these 16 of 17 runs for, you know, 140 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like, it's just like, is Patrick Graham the answer? That's where I'm sitting right now.
Wait, hold up. I just forgot something. My bad, y'all. Hey, man, I forgot to address the chat, man. I forgot to address the nation. What's going on? Hey, Raider Resistance Prez, man. Appreciate you coming through, man. My guy, SVT in the building. Well, we were on time. You Perfect. Seen it. We got witnesses. You seen it. We were on time today. Sean Schefter Johnson. Salute Ray and Farrell. Let's talk about it. Hey, we gonna talk about it, man. Appreciate you coming through. Always dropping some facts in the Instagram, man. Like he always be DMing me with crazy facts. I might pull him out tonight. I don't know. We'll see. See if we
Yeah,
got
because speaking of the linebacker room, we have a new linebacker. So
Oh, do we? Okay, I must miss that. But Jesse Cardenas says Raiders all day. I got you, man. Anytime I see a Raiders, I got you. And my guy J Dub in the building, man. Appreciate you coming through. Man. NorCal Jesse's been a minute, man. Appreciate you coming through.
What's going on, NorCal?
What's going on? Lurking to Ray. D-line isn't yeah, facts. It's not. No pressure. They're not stopping the run. And that's a recipe for disaster. And we haven't even got into the offense yet.
No, look, we talked about the strength of this team being the trenches up front, and to be excited about that. To be honest with you, they've been the weakness, both of them. You know, pass blocking. I mean, yeah, they're doing good, but hey, that run blocking is just god awful.
Yeah. Marty March says bend, but don't break defense. Don't work against good mobile QBs. Yeah. I mean, when you run a lot of zone defense, good QBs, they'll tear that apart at the end of the day. Like it's not. I think that, and we'll get into it. I think the Steelers might be a better matchup.
Yeah, I agree.
There's an opportunity here. There's an opportunity for the Raiders to bounce back. I'll say that. There's an opportunity. Lurkin 2 Ray said Trayvon Morik. Okay, he's saying that's the guy that he was kind of that he's been impressed by so far this year. I mean, have you though? Have you like? Would you say like you're overly impressed, man? Like, hey, man, we haven't forced a turnover, man.
I don't think he's the issue.
I don't think he's the issue. I think it's just the D line is just the biggest shock right now.
Dude, it's so bad.
And Jesse says, is the Raiders offensive line got Des Boy and the defense had no pressure too? We're gonna go as far as offensive line takes us. You know what? Pass protecting, they've been doing their job. They haven't given up a sack. They're the only team that hasn't given a sack this season. When it comes to pass protection, I don't think that's the issue. I think running the football is the issue, but I think that teams right now are kind of they're basically putting 8 men in a box and they're going all out to stop Josh Jacobs. And Josh Jacobs doesn't look as explosive out there.
No, I think yeah, and I don't think that they really fear Jimmy Garoppolo is gonna tear him apart either. You know what I mean? There's issues there as well. And look, the fact of the matter is he missed pretty much the entire offseason. So to think that he's going to jump in there and just be slinging it. But look, here's the fact of the matter is he's the starting quarterback. He's in there. He's got to be able to read the field a lot better. Like Jimmy Garoppolo just cannot see. And we talked about it last week. Jimmy Garoppolo is making misreads. We went over the film. He's not seeing the entire field. And that happened again this week. You know what I mean? It's a problem that I don't think it's going to just get solved in a week. It's going to take the course of the season, and it might be till mid-season to when he's actually going through his reads, but it's not good. It's not good, and it needs to get better.
And it's kind of ironic. It's kind of funny. Well, it's not funny for Raider fans, but he's kind of struggling like Derek Carr was struggling last year in this offense, huh? Missing guys, missing reads. And we kind of chalked it up like, well, it's a new offense. It's going to take time. Remember that whole thing, the whole season? But it was just the whole season. It took the whole season. And I'm not sure. And you know what, too? I don't know if Raider fans are ready to hear this. I don't think Jimmy G is not a guy that you want dropping back 40 times a game. Mm-hmm. That's not his game. He's a game manager. He needs a run game to be effective. And you know what, too? They're not throwing to the middle of the field. Kyle Shanahan made it a point to have his tight end going in the middle, Debo going in the middle field. They're throwing outside a lot with him. I'm not sure if that's his game.
Week one, there was a lot. They worked the intermediate routes over the middle, specifically with Jacoby, like on third downs, and had some success there. But with Jacoby Myers being out last week, you could tell the impact it had on the offensive passing scheme. Like there's a comfortability there, and once they double Devontae and he has to go through those reads with Hunter or Christian Wilkerson, it got ugly pretty quick.
Nah, and that's funny. I've been noticing that too. Is the fact that he's keying on certain players. He's throwing it either Devontae or Josh Jacobs. It was like that
Yeah,
for the
no,
whole
yeah.
first half.
One read,
until
check down.
Yeah, until the last play of the first half. It was a 2-yard, I think, Michael Mayer's first professional catch, a 2-yard gain to end the half. And after the half, obviously, you know, Cooper got a couple of catches and whatnot, but still, like he's not comfortable.
No,
He's not comfortable, and it shows. And you know what? Teams are not respecting him too.
yeah. Well, they know he's not seeing it. Once you put that on film and you go and you review those tablets, and you're like, oh wow, Hunter Renfrow splits 2 safeties and he's wide open running down the field, and Jimmy Garoppolo checks it down to Josh Jacobs. Yeah, he's not trusting his arm. Like, and what's the problem with me, Pharaoh, is he sees it and then he's gun shy. He pulls it. Like, he sees it, doesn't pull the trigger, and then boom, gets out to his check down, and you can't be thinking. And it looks like Jimmy Garoppolo is thinking too much.
Or maybe he doesn't have enough arm. You know what I mean? People are not respecting his arm. Hey, look. And I hate to bring it back to Derek Carr, because Derek Carr has his own problems and deficiency as a player. You know, they're comparable in the fact that, like, they're both kind of like, you know, middle of the pack quarterbacks. But I will say this though, teams respected Derek Carr's arm.
They respected the threat of his ability to go deep.
Oh yeah, one safety. Oh, Derek Carr would love to throw deep.
Yeah,
because he was accurate enough to throw deep.
Yeah.
Jimmy G, you see, he had Trey Tucker underthrown it. But I'm not surprised though. I'm not like disappointed or like, it's just, you know, I live in the Bay Area. You watch the Niners play like every weekend, and they literally went to the Super Bowl with this guy, and they figured out like this guy is not the guy. So, you know, it is what it is. But
and I'm not going to be that guy. But hey, at some point, I would like to see what Aiden O'Connell can do, because I think he can stretch the field and at least get people to guess.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as a fan,
yeah,
as a fan, I'd rather just see Aiden O'Connell figure out if he's the guy or not. Oh, my camera just went out. Hold on, let me fix this real quick.
No, you're good. No, yeah, that's my point. Like, is that going to happen? Absolutely not. They paid Jimmy. Jimmy's the guy. You know, they're going to sit Aiden O'Connell for a while. But just as a fan perspective, I would like to see that young quarterback who's not gun shy, who's going to let it rip. He has Devontae Adams. He's a rookie in the league. He knows that I've got one of the best wide receivers in football. Let's give him a 50-50 jump ball, 35, 40 yards down the field, see what he can do with it. I've got Trey Tucker. If I can just lead him and push the ball down the field, like Aiden O'Connell has the type of game that what we need right now on film is somebody who's going to take the chance, make these defenses play honest, get them to back up, loosen up the box. Once you loosen up that box, we can get Josh Jacobs going. But ultimately, we're losing the game up front, man, and it's a big issue right now.
Oh yeah, Ray too. I don't know if you knew, like you can actually go into the comments. You have that power to actually pull up comments.
Do I?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is simultaneous cast, guys. So
yeah. So we finally made it a simulcast. So we're going live on both our channels. So you guys out there, if you haven't liked the video, make sure to hit like that video, man, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified the next time we go live. Yeah,
T-Severe, I was going to lean on this too, because I do agree. I do think that the arm thing does get overblown, because these guys aren't. I'm not talking that these guys are 60 yards down the football field, right? I'm talking they're in a 35-yard window that you hit these guys in stride, and they're going to do what Jimmy Garoppolo does, and it's rack. It's the yards after the catch. So I agree with this. I think this is a progression issue. Jimmy Garoppolo has the opportunity to get the ball to these guys. It's just he at times he sees it and he doesn't pull the trigger, and at times he completely misses it and looks for his check down. So yeah.
I don't know, T-Severe, man. I don't know. Look, it is what it is. Jimmy G's just he's Jimmy G. I'm more disappointed about that D line. Like, come on, man. Like, you had a whole offseason to make it work, to figure out, like, who you could put out there to make this into at least a better defense, and that D-line is terrible. It's terrible. It's to the point where Max Crosby's pretty much ineffective. And I think he's frustrated too.
100%. Well, he loses Chandler. He's dealing with that whole situation, and he's been quiet about that. You got Tyree Wilson coming off the foot injury. Malcolm Kuntz, he's flashes here and there. But, man, interior-wise, like, you've got to be calling around the league. Like, you even have to get, like, I would not even mind calling Buffalo and just seeing, like, a fourth rounder for a guy like Leonard Floyd. Just a guy who can come in and add something, add a spark. Like,
yeah.
If you're going to –
we had our opportunity, too. We had an opportunity to go for a Leonard Floyd. Even the guy, I think, who did he sign with? He signed with the Ravens. DN. Oh my God.
Yeah, I forget.
DN for the Ravens. He was a DN for the Browns. I don't know why.
Davian Clowney?
Yeah, we could have signed him. He would have been an upgrade.
Anybody, Pharaoh, I'm about to sign you. You're an upgrade at this point. So,
yeah. Hey, they don't know. They don't know, man. I don't even need to practice, man.
Listen, we talking about practice.
I don't even need to practice, man. But yeah, man. Hey, just to wrap everything up, man. Look, after the game, Devontae Adams left with concussion. He's good to go. He should be fine. He looked like he cleared everything. Rookie cornerback Jacorian Bennett, he left with a knee injury, so that's something to monitor this week. So hopefully he's good. Marcus Epps left with a quad injury, so hopefully he can get healthy. And then Jacoby Myers, we don't know. I mean,
that one's iffy.
Yeah, because McDaniels wasn't he didn't give 100% confident answer that he was going to come back, because they actually asked him was he going to come back next week, but he didn't. So we'll see as the week goes on. We'll figure out who's going to be healthy.
OG is in the building. What's going on, OG?
In the building.
He says after that dumpster fire last week, there's only one way to go. I hope you're right, man. I mean, let's not put that back to back. It's a home opener for the Raiders. Look. This game, you have got to make a statement in Vegas. If you're going to create any type of noise, any type of momentum, if you're trying to sell tickets and charge fans 3 times the average price around the league, you've got to put a product out there on the field, and it's got to happen fast. So, but to be honest with you, Pharaoh, it just keeps going back to this defensive line. And honestly, Greg Van Roten last week, we kind of talked about it in the preview. My fear was with him and Ed Oliver, and that was an early issue. And I said in that preview that with all that attention with Van Roten and Ed Oliver, that it was going to be an issue for Dylan Parham. And I thought Dylan Parham had a bad game as well. So it kind of, the negatives that we talked about last week kind of reared their head in a big way. And it kind of turned into a blowout. So that right guard position, look, Jordan Meredith, at some point, if Greg Van Roten can't step up, if he can't find a niche in the run game, which that's what all the talk was, right? That he's this nasty run blocker, this mauler. If he can't figure it out, I'm not going to be mad to see Jordan Meredith to get a shot at one of the guard spots, because something's got to happen. You've got to find a guy who is motivated and ready to go. So
Van Roten was he was the one that got pushed all the way back into the backfield first play of the game.
Yeah.
And literally, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
But too,
I mean, that was happening all game, man. I ain't gonna lie. Every time the Raiders ran the ball, they were getting pushed off. They were getting pushed off by the other D line. They were getting dominated, in my opinion.
And the Raiders have got to see that the talent, specifically on the defensive line, it's not there. I don't know, do you wait till trade deadline to see what guys are on the market, or do you think Dave Ziegler is actively calling people right now? Who can we get?
I don't know, man.
Especially
I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
right?
They've waited this long not to are they serious? They really thought this was cool. This was good enough. So if they really thought that this was good enough, then I'm not sure if they're going to make a move. If anything, if they don't start winning some games, maybe some people might get let go.
Well, then think
Not
about
let go, not let go, but full rebuild mode possibly. It's a possibility. You got some veterans in here, man, that they want to win now, and they're great players at their position.
I will say this. Next offseason, and I don't like to talk about next offseason like this, but there's a ton of money that we're about to walk into next year, like a ton of cap space.
Right.
And you can throw a ton of and this isn't the answer. Like I preach this all the time. Throwing money at the front of, throwing money at an offense, throwing money at a defense, it is not the answer. You have to be able to hit on free agents. So you could hit on 4 free agents for vet minimums, but if they hit, you're a success. Or you can throw all the money in the world,
right?
Marcus Joyner, Corey Littleton. You could throw all the money in the world at the defensive side of the ball and miss. So I will say this, though. We do have money next offseason, but do we trust the front office to go and get the right players to plug into this defense? That's the bigger question.
Austin Avila said, bro, they traded Neil Farrell, not a world beater by any means, but I truly believe the front office thought D-tackle was going to be a strength this year.
Yep.
Man. That deserves a shots fired right there. For sure.
Now, let's be honest. Neil Farrell, like you said, not a world beater by any means. Does he move the needle for this defensive line production? Is he the missing piece? Absolutely not. But at the same time, man, Dave Ziegler better be on the phone, man. That's all I got to say. Dave Ziegler better be on the phone, and he better be asking around. And to be honest, I'm at this point with this defense. Give up capital. Go give up a 3rd-round pick. If you have to give up a 2nd-round pick to go get just like a star-studded player who's ready to go and is maybe in a contract year and you can extend him after the season, go do it.
Yeah, but you can't. You're kind of speaking like Mark Davis won't be like, wait, we went to the playoffs in 2021. We went 6-10 the next year, and it's only been 2 games. We're 1-1. We're tied for first place in the division. It's not the end of the world, but the fact is we can kind of see where the talent is because we just played a Super Bowl contender, and when you play the best, one of the best, they tell you everything you need to know about your team.
Yep.
And what the Raiders showed on Sunday was, man, they got dominated on every aspect of the football field. Coaching, O-line, D-line, it don't matter. It didn't look good. But
you made a good point about we were in the playoffs, yada yada yada. But it's like, bro, are we just gonna sit on our hands? Are you gonna go through 17 weeks of this being your defensive line? What happens if injuries happen? What happens if Max goes out? God forbid. Bro, if Max Crosby gets injured, this is hands down the worst defensive line in all of football, probably in recent history. So, no, there has to be a move made. I love our draft. I love having draft picks. I love having draft capital. But if you can tell me that we can go out there and we can grab somebody who is solidified, who's going to be a plug and play, you know what you're getting, I'm okay with that because something has to happen with the interior of this defensive line.
Well, let's talk about it. It's that time, y'all. It's that time. It's that time. Stock up, stock down, man. We gonna talk about the players, man, that played well, that didn't play well, and I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a lot of players that we can talk about that didn't play well, and I'm just gonna start off with the good, man. And I'm just gonna be I'm a positive person, so I'm gonna stay positive. Trey Tucker.
Yeah, that was good.
We talked about that before the game. We were like, hey, make it simple, make it easy for him. Let him use his speed. A nice look, end around, boom, turns the corner, and he was running. It didn't even look like he was running that fast.
No,
he was just blown by people. That's how you know he was fast.
Yeah,
he had that one carry with 34 yards, and he had a step on a player that, hey, let's be honest, Jimmy G should have had him. Jimmy G should have had him.
He also should have been in PI. The fact that they picked that up, that was ridiculous. But no, I agree with you.
And then my other guy, I'm going to make this quick because there's not a lot of players that played well last game. Devontae Adams is just Devontae Adams. 6 receptions, 84 yards, 1 touchdown. For him, that's an average game, just because from what we're used to seeing him, we're seeing him to get 100 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns a game, easy. But yeah, man, that's pretty much all I got for stock up, but stock down. Who do you got, Ray, man? Who do you want to lead off with?
Oh my gosh. How much time do we got? Look, stock down, I'm gonna go Bilal Nichols. Trash. I don't mean that disrespectfully. I just mean it like, bro, enough is enough. Like,
right.
You were brought in here, you got a decent contract. You're another one of those free agents that haven't worked out. I'm gonna say Nate Hobbs. Nate Hobbs did not look good in coverage. Which I'm a huge Nate Hobbs guy. Love Nate Hobbs. I want to go Jacorian Bennett, but I think Jacorian played better than what Nate Hobbs did. So it's I'm gonna go Greg Van Roten. I thought you had a horrendous game. The whole stat about not giving up a sack, that's overblown to me when you can't generate a single positive rushing yard. You might as well have let up 5 sacks, in my opinion, because what did Josh have? 9 carries for like -2 yards? Just something ridiculous. So it's just, I don't know, man. There's a ton of stock down for me. Stock up.
Hold on 1 second. We
got a phone call.
We got a phone call.
Hello?
That sounded like a hang up. That sounded like you hit the whole answer and hung up.
Yeah, I don't think that was the right call. The right call, yo. That was one of them calls where they be like, you don't recognize the number.
Oh no, here we go.
Oh man. But go ahead, man.
Okay. So stock up, you guys. This is a pretty surprising one. I thought that this was going to be the biggest issue, which is funny because we talked about the defensive line being a strength, and they're obviously not. The linebacker room. I thought Robert Spillane has shown some flashes, being able to be disciplined, reading his gap, getting into the backfield. I'd like to see sometimes he's more of a thumper than a rapper. I'd like to see him wrap up on some more. Divine Diablo has been a surprise to me. I don't think he's perfect, but I definitely think he's taken a jump in his game. Max Crosby's Max Crosby, but when he gets taken away like that, it just makes the defense look horrendous. So yeah, the only positives, man, I've got the linebacker room because I feel like they at least showed up and tackled a little bit, and I mean a little bit. Yeah, man, stock up, stock down this list. I mean, you could put Josh McDaniels, I could put Patrick Graham, I could put Jimmy Garoppolo, I can put Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs looks like he's flat. He's not seeing the ball like he does.
We got a call from Severe.
Oh, there we go.
What's going on, Severe, man? You in the building, man? What's going on with you, man?
What's good? Yeah, man, I was gonna call and hang up, just just for laughs, but
hey, man.
Yeah, man. Just calling to talk about that game, man. It was a disappointing game. I expected a better performance out of us, but most people had this game as an L. I actually thought we would win this game, but after seeing what happened in week 1 to the Bills, I kind of started to feel like, okay, this might be one of those games where like they got embarrassed on national television against an opponent who lost their quarterback on the very first drive. They're coming back home. People don't want to put too much stock into it, but you got the whole Damar Hamlin aspect of things, and his. So I kind of thought this would be a tough game. I thought it would be tough in the beginning, and then that we would kind of get our bearings after, they'll kind of come down from the emotional high. That did not happen. The opposite happened, and we could just never get right, man. Look, Josh Jacobs talked all this. He was saying all these subliminals this whole offseason, bro. You need to get your ass on the treadmill. Bro, you need to do something because you're slow to the hole. Yep. You're not reading your blocks correctly. He's overrunning blocks. He's missing cutback lanes. Dude looks bad. Like whatever you want to say about Zamir White, and he ain't look great either. And he put the ball on the ground. In the same set of circumstances, they both running the ball late in the game. Zamir White was productive. Josh Jacobs wasn't.
Right.
I don't know what the difference between the two is, but you're supposed to be the league's leading rusher. Last game you averaged 2.5 yards per carry. This game you run for -2 yards. Like, I don't want to hear no smack about not wanting to be the hero no more. I don't want to hear none of that, bro. Get your ass in the training room, do whatever. Get with the offensive line, get with the running backs coach, whatever you need to do to get right, bro. You need to get right because, like I said, he's seen all these subliminals about how much he feels he's worth. All this nonsense, bro. You should have been in camp a long time, man. It makes me mad because this is a problem of his own creation. Bro, there were several opportunities for him to get this deal done. And he held out for more money and ended up signing a deal that I'm pretty sure was extremely close to what he was going to get anyway, except there's still no long-term security. So what did you really accomplish?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing at all. Just did nothing. So it's like, man, like get out of here. Trevor America's a bum. To get this bum off the field, I don't care who you got to get out there, bro.
First, I gotta say, Severe, man, I'm gonna have to give you applause because that's exactly who I wanted to talk about on Stock Down, man. I gotta give you applause, man. That was beautiful, man.
Yeah. If you want to get your jab in before I get mine in, bro, but dude is straight. And the thing that's crazy is that when he came out of TCU, they ran a 2-deep system there. And people were saying, like, oh, there's going to be an adjustment, for him playing in the cover 3 in the Gus Bradley system when he gets to the league. That was supposed to be the thing. But the only time he's looked like even close to a capable NFL player was his rookie year. It's been all downhill since then. I don't want to see the dude on the field no more, bro. I don't want to see your jersey on the sideline. Like, send this dude home. Like, put him out on punishment. I'd rather activate Aiden O'Connell and just leave him inactive. Like, I'm done with you. Bernard Nichols is trash. Like, bro, Bernard ain't worth 2 nickels. Like, get this dude off the field too. Get this bum home too, bro. Like, these dudes is the whole middle of the line is garbage. And the thing that's pissing me off also, bro, like, as much as I love Max Crosby, like, bro, like, learn your freaking lesson. Like, every time he does not keep contained, Josh Allen breaks contained and hurts us. Like, every single time. And this dude keep doing this same move, like jumping inside, and it works like once all game.
And that's a good point.
Not getting, like, bro, every single time he's doing it. Like, bro, like, you got to be smart in that. And I know, like, Josh McDaniels in the offseason was like, oh, you know what? We want to give players like that the freedom to kind of do their own thing. And they talked about it. Like, he talked about in Busting with the Boys, how J.J. Watt never really kept contained. And that's what makes it all. But when you have a quarterback like Josh Allen, bro, he's literally like waiting for you to do this. He's like, okay, well, he's going to do this. I'm just going to wait for him. I'm going to get
He did it against Russell Wilson. He did it against Russell Wilson, too.
Same thing against us.
Yeah.
Same thing, man. And it's like, bro, like, at some point, I know you're trying to get off and get yours. And quite frankly, nobody else is. But I'd rather us keep Josh Allen in the pocket, make him make accurate throws all game. Make him make accurate, because he's Brett Favre. He's going to give us 1 or 2 a game to get. We just got to get him. Now, I have no faith that Trayvon Merrick will do it, but somebody out there should. Somebody should. Like, so, like, make him make good decisions and make him make accurate throws. Don't let him be a football player. Make him be a quarterback. Now, his first 2 years in the league, when they were making him be a quarterback, he wasn't that great. Then they started like, you know what, we're going to let Josh Allen be Josh Allen, and now he's top 5 quarterback. And that's exactly what happened on Sunday. We didn't let him make him be a quarterback. We let him be a football player. We let him play street ball out there, and he killed us. And it's like, bro, like, we can't keep making these same mistakes, man. Like, we cannot keep doing the same thing. I mean, like you guys said, the only bright spot on this team, and I kept telling people linebackers not as bad as people said it was. The only bright spot so far has been a linebacker play. Both Spillane and Diablo, they look good out there. But everybody else, bro, is on notice. Like I said, Trayvon Merrick is a bum. Epps had a little bit of a bounce back game, but like his landlord had given him a 3-day notice. Like he was about to do something bum too. So like he was trending bum, and then he kind of recovered this last game. So the Steelers had a good performance this past week. So hopefully we can come out, get some home cooking, come out there. We got to get this run game going. We got to get Hunter involved. And then that's another thing. Before I leave, this last thing I want to say. Like, Hunter, like, I was watching Hunter, and I kind of said before, like, Teron Johnson's not going to go for all this little cute shit you be doing, bro. Like, I saw him several times. Hunter did get open, like once or twice I saw. But there was a few times where Hunter would do this.
Yeah, the touchdown.
All this, herky-jerky. Yeah, all this herky-jerky Watusi shit. And then Teron Johnson would just sit on it and then just put the straps on them. But there was a few times where Hunter did get loose.
No, he had a touchdown. Jimmy G missed him.
Yeah.
He had a touchdown.
Yeah.
And that's another guy that you had to mention though. You gotta. I agree with a lot of what you're saying, but you didn't mention Jimmy G. I know Jimmy G's your guy. I know you feel like Jimmy G sometimes.
He's my guy.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't want to say he's my guy, but I think one thing people don't understand is people, like, when people watch football, there's a few things that they don't get. They don't understand, like, progression. So you don't know, like, based on what the defense is doing, your progression is going to take you somewhere else before it takes you another place. Then you got to understand whether you're reading it high to low, low to high. Like, there's a lot of stuff that goes involved. So we'll see stuff like it's way on the other side of the field. If I'm reading this safety and I see the safety is cheating over, like, if my read takes me there, I'm going to go there. I'm not going to go to, like, some guy way on the opposite side of the field. That's like,
right.
Like, I don't know if you guys remember, like, there was a year when I think we were playing the Chiefs, and Derek Carr threw an interception. I want to think, who was the safety? Is it? That's not Darnell Savage.
Oh,
it's the safety.
You talking about Honey Badger? Honey Badger?
No, not Honey Badger. It's another guy. He was a rookie. I want to say him and Darnell Savage were in the same class, but I don't remember the guy's name.
Oh,
I remember
Thornhill.
Derek Carr was like
Juan Thornhill.
What's it with Thorn? I don't think so. His name. No, it's not Thorn. I don't remember who it was. I don't remember. But anyway, like, he picked Derek off. That's like, he picked Derek off. And Derek was like, oh, in this coverage, he's not supposed to do that. Like, bro, like, dude's out here playing football. Like, all the time, like, these guys aren't going to, sometimes if you see a certain coverage and they're supposed to play it a certain way, this tells you, like, before anything else, it's like, I'm supposed to go here with the ball. And that's how Derek Carr is, right? Derek Carr is like a robot. He's programmed. And that's why it was, like, kind of easy to take him out of his game, because, like, like, Derek Carr is going to follow the rules. Like, whether it's off the field or on the field, like, he's going to follow the rules. And that's one of the issues I think he had with adjusting to Josh McDaniel's system, because sometimes the rules are different, right? Like, if in these certain coverages, like, there's a lot of freedom for wide receivers to make, to have, like, two-way goals, and there's different option routes, all that stuff. Quarterback and wide receiver have to see the same thing, and two receivers have to see the same thing. So sometimes when guys aren't seeing the same thing, that that's what causes miscommunications. It causes Hunter Renfrow and Devontae to be.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask both. I'm gonna pose this question to the chat and everybody. Do you think that if Derek Carr was a younger QB, he would have still been here, or they would have still cut, they still would have cut loss because they just didn't. They didn't feel like there was any, anything that meshed well with their system. He's not their type of guy or whatever. Or was it a matter of this guy is an age, he's kind of going well in his 30s. At this point, we're not trying to wait for him to develop into a system. Why don't we just go and get our guy, because we need to win now, because obviously he's not getting it. Because he didn't. He had a terrible season.
I think with Derek, there was a convergence of several things. I think age had something to do with it. His contract had something to do with it. I think also the kind of person he was, they had something. Like, these guys, like, pretty much not the majority, like, their entire career, they had been around Tom Brady. And Tom Brady is a certain type of leader. He leads in a certain way. And, and when he's on the field, he conducts himself in a certain way. Right. And Jimmy G is not Tom Brady, like, nobody's going to mistake. But he has a certain gravitas about him, just as a person, not even as a player. Like, Tom Brady has it as a person, as a player, as a businessman, like, everything, right? But Jimmy G has a certain type of, like I say, like, it's like a je ne sais quoi. Like, you can't quite put your finger on it, but dudes, like, listen to dudes talk about him. Like, they love him. Then he has that dog in him on the field. Yeah. But right now, his play has not matched up. On that first drive, he looked good. Then we turned the ball over in the second drive, and it was all downhill from there. So I don't know if it's a situation where that first drive, it was scripted and you know, everything's going according to plan and we look good. And then as soon as we have to get off script, it fell apart. I don't know what it is.
I was telling Ray, man, I don't think he's comfortable with the guys that's out there, man. I think he's comfortable with Jacoby Myers. You can see that instant chemistry.
Yeah.
And then you can see maybe a little bit with Devontae because he's Devontae, but they still not all the way there. But everybody else, like, because you're noticing like the targets, and it's taken a lot. It's taken a while for other, like, come on. I know you mentioned Hunter Renfrow, but Hunter Renfrow should be getting at least a catch here and there, man. He should not have like one catch through 2 games.
Well, I think that they need to start designing him catches. You know what I mean? We're talking about going through the progressions, much like they did to Trey Tucker. You know, they got him the end around. I want to see early on in the game, hey, let's give Hunter Renfrow a little 3-yard out. Let's run a drag and just get the ball in his hands and just maybe develop chemistry naturally that way.
Exactly. Yeah. I think. I mean, I agree that. I think if you look at it, all of those guys that, you know, Jimmy G isn't real comfortable with, all those guys missed time when Jimmy got back. You know, if I can recall correctly, right? Mayer missed some time after that first Rams practice, I want to say. You know, Devontae had missed some time. Like Hunter Renfrow had missed a bunch of time. Only dude that was really consistently out there was Jacoby Myers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And look who's the guy he's most comfortable with, Jacoby Myers. So it's like, you know, so I don't know if it's an issue where it's a chemistry thing. And also, like, with the Jimmy G, I mean, I think, without Jimmy G, but with Devontae, it was a thing, like, I think he said it before. Like, Devontae open is not regular receiver open, right? You can get Devontae some chance. And I think, well, he tried to do it late in the game, and it almost cost us Devontae. But, you know, like, in that situation, most guys, you probably wouldn't throw it to him in that situation. But, you know, that's Devontae Adams. Like, bro, I'm going to give you a chance. Even on that throw on the sideline, that was, like, a little bit like out of reach for Devontae. Like, you know, most guys, maybe you don't try to fit that. And that was a pretty accurate throw, like, between, like, what, like 3 defenders? It's just, you know, barely off his fingertips. Like, most guys, maybe you're not taking that chance to give him the ball there, but, you know, when you have Devontae Adams, you're like, hey, you know what? This is the best receiver in the league. Or
you talking about the fourth quarter? You talking about that fourth quarter throw?
It was one up the side. He was one up the sideline that was like barely out of his reach. And that was the first one I'm talking about is the fourth quarter one where the guy like came out of nowhere and you know, basically, you know, it hit Devontae with that illegal hit.
He should never been in the game. Devontae should never been in the game because McDaniels already threw the towel when he didn't go for it on fourth down. With 12 minutes left. You knew he gave up. I'm like, all right, if you give up, then take out like your best players. But you know, that's a whole different discussion for another day.
Two, where's Michael? Like, Michael Mayer is the type of player, like, I don't want to see Josh McDaniels ruin what it is that he does. Like, I want to see this guy get involved, attacking the seams, and open some of these things up. Also, some design concepts just to get him ball in space. Like, don't draft him and just plug him in as an inline blocking tight end when this guy thrives at big bodying guys. Like, if you want to help Jimmy Garoppolo, get Michael Mayer involved. Get the guys underneath like a Hunter Renfrow involved and design plays for them. And let's not just go through this one read check down type of offense. So I don't know, man. There's a blend going on here. I think Jimmy Garoppolo missing some time with these guys, the rapport, him learning. Look, let's be honest. I know he's been in this system before, but there's obviously thinking going on the field. Like, he is processing a lot. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, man.
Like you said, man, it's something from all these buckets, man. It's something from all these buckets. I mean, I think Josh, he's a guy that he doesn't really want to do too much changing to his system because conceivably his system is supposed to take you where the ball is supposed to go. But sometimes you have to, like, you know, sometimes you got to, you know, even like basketball, right? Sometimes you got to get a guy an elbow jumper, you know, to kind of get him in his rhythm. And then after that, you can say, okay, now it's game time. You got your stroke. Now let's go out there and play ball. Sometimes you got to do that. And I think he you know, he doesn't really want to do that because he doesn't want to go away from what the offense is and what the system is. But
he didn't do that. He didn't do that with Derek Carr too. Like he doesn't like he doesn't like doing that with Derek Carr, or even there are times where like early in the offseason they talked about he got together with Jimmy G and said, oh, he looked at plays at what he was good at and what he did with Kyle Shanahan. Are we seeing that though? Is he throwing it to the middle of the field? I haven't seen Jimmy G throw it to the middle of the field like that, or throw it to the tight end like that. I don't know. It's just hasn't been there. But it's only been 2 games. Let's be fair.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I just don't want Josh McDaniels' overall theme to be that he is smarter than the game of football. Because what you guys were talking about is like sometimes you have to improv. And the problem with Josh McDaniels' offense, from what I've seen within the last going on 2 years now, is the ability to improv when things break down. When the ball can't go where the ball is designed to go, thinking you're outsmarting other defensive coordinators, when at times he's calling a good football game at times. But man, when the ball is not going where it's designed to go and you have to improv, which is the game of football, that's where this offense stalls and breaks down. And that happens too many times in the course of a game to get your traction back.
Yeah. Yeah, but he probably doesn't value. You don't like he doesn't value those types of players where they go ahead.
No. Go ahead, finish your point, brother.
No, I was just gonna say because through the whole pre-draft process, we were looking at quarterbacks that can run and that can move, that are super athletic.
Is Aiden O'Connell the answer to my problems? That's what I want to know.
Hey, you know what? I wouldn't mind that, but that's just it. You know, like if you.
I don't think so, man.
No, I know.
I think. I mean, I think it's yeah.
I wouldn't mind him out there. All I'm saying, I wouldn't mind him out there to figure out what he is.
Run last game. He should have got good. He got some run last game, even if it's mop-up duty. He should have got some run last game.
Yeah.
But I think part of the problem is that Josh wants these guys to get more time on task. Another issue is that. This system is supposed to be a system where no matter what you do, it makes you wrong. That's what it's supposed to be. No matter if you cover this guy's open. If you cover that guy is open. If I can't go here, I can go there. That's how it's supposed to be. But like I said, it's incumbent on everybody, especially your quarterback, seeing it that way. And it's also incumbent upon your line, giving you enough time to get the ball where you need it to go. I don't think Jimmy G is seeing it how he's supposed to. I'm not sure if the receivers are seeing it how they're supposed to. And the line has done an admirable job, but there were times where, when we thought we could get a play, especially in week 1, and last week as well, if we could have got a little bit more time, maybe there's some stuff we can get done. But like I said, it's only 2 weeks, man. I think, Buffalo is a very, very talented team, and I think that we got Pittsburgh next week at home. So even though it's probably not going to be a home game for us, but still it's in Vegas. So it's in Vegas. So hopefully we have a get right performance, man. And like I said, I don't want to ride this roller coaster where every week I'm up and down with the team and anything like that. I still want to get these guys time. Only people I'm putting on notice off top, though, is Trevon Merrick's a bum. He gets no more time. Bilal Nichols gets no more time. But y'all been bummed since last year. And we tried to wash the stink off you this offseason, and I still smell the bum on you. So y'all get no more chances.
And we gonna end it with that, man. We gonna end it with the Raiders defense being on stock down. It starts with the D line, and it's to pretty much show you how bad the D line has, but specifically the D tackles. They literally combine for 0 sacks, 0 tackle for loss, 0 QB hits. Not one player from that D tackle in 2 games. Come on, man.
All right, gentlemen, man. Let's hope for a win on Sunday, brothers.
All right, man.
All right, man. Late.
Yep.
T Severe, man.
That was a good one. It's always good when T Severe calls in.
Hey, man, he came in unloaded, man. He was holding that since Sunday, for sure.
Oh yeah.
He was like, man,
that was fermented.
Yeah.
That was good.
You said fermented.
That was fermented, man. He sat on that one for a minute.
Oh man, but hey, I noticed someone did call while we had T Severe on the line. Usually we let T Severe talk, man. He's a good friend of the show. But yeah, if you want to call in, you see the number on the screen, 628-333-9343. You want to let us know your thoughts about last game, moving forward in the season. And you know what? We're about to get into the topic that I wanted to talk about. Let's stop talking about this game, man. It happened. It is what it is. Let's move on, man. Raiders Steelers preview, man. Let's get into it, man.
Perfect.
So we kind of back-to-back weeks. We had 2 Monday Night Football games where we get to watch the team on nationally televised TV. With obviously the Bills the week before, and then the Steelers.
Yeah.
What did you see from that team? I mean, like just looking at the team playing against the Browns.
So I'll say this: their defense is so opportunistic. This whole Jimmy Garoppolo checking down to Josh Jacobs. Look, Steelers are going to see this coming from a mile away. You have to switch up the game plan this week going against the Steelers. Those shots that you weren't taking in these previous 2 games, you're going to have to take something this game going into the Steelers. I don't want to just sit here and be cute about it. Offensively, I think the Steelers, we have this is more of closer to the Broncos. I feel like George Pickens is a superstar in the making. I love the talent. I loved him coming out of Georgia. I really wish the Raiders would have grabbed him, but so George Pickens is walking into his own element here. I like the matchup defensively against the Steelers offense. I think it bodes better for our defense. But defensively, man, for the Steelers going up against this Raiders offense, we've got to find an identity. We have got to get the run game going. We've got to lighten up these boxes. We've got to get these guys to play back. And man, look, the fact of the matter is there's a few players that you got to get the ball. I want to see Michael Mayer get involved. Yeah. Get these linebackers to back up. Get these linebackers to stop just coming downhill, focusing in on Josh Jacobs and getting after Jimmy Garoppolo. Give them a threat to worry about because it's not present right now. Yeah, Austin Hooper's had a few catches, whatever. Get Michael Mayer involved. You spend a 2nd-round draft pick on him. Quit trying to make him an M-line blocker and just a blocking tight end. You're hurting his talent. You're hurting the skill sets that you drafted him for. Get him going. Get Hunter Renfrow schemed up, attacking that nickel corner. Start getting them to think and set up plays for later in the game to Hunter Renfrow when you really need to convert on big 3rd downs. Don't just focus in on Devontae Adams when the double is there. So, man, there's a lot and we're going to talk about it Saturday, right? We're going to go into player matchups specifically on Saturday, which is what I'm really looking forward to. And hopefully we can get some game film. But as a whole, man, there's just so many things that the Raiders have to do better than what they just did.
Hey, make sure to hit that like button. If you haven't hit it, we need it. It helps us out so we can keep coming back. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We're going live on both our channels. So if you watching it on any of our channels, go ahead and hit the like button where you at and subscribe to both our channels, man. We're trying to grow out here in these YouTube streets. So make sure to support us and hit the notification bell so you guys are notified when we go live. But yeah, man, let me look. I'm not really too, I want to say afraid, but I'm not concerned about the Steelers offense. I think the Raiders defense have a chance to kind of like, make some improvements, small improvements, because we're not going against elite quarterback now. We're going against a kind of a Kenny Pickett. He's a young quarterback. The way our defense is playing, it's kind of hard to say, but their offense is playing terrible. They're not pretty good. I mean, they're not good out there. But their defense, though, forced like 4 turnovers the other night, 2 defensive touchdowns,
Huge.
6 sacks. You know what I mean? They're physical, led by TJ Watt. But the good thing that's on our side is the fact that Cam Hayward is not going to be playing.
I seen Minka Fitzpatrick too had like a chest contusion, so I don't know if he's going to be out this game or not. That would be major help. We just went against 2 really good safeties. It'd be nice to kind of catch a break.
And on offense, Deontay Johnson, he's a good receiver. And he complements the George Pickens of the world. I think he's on injured reserve, so he's not going to be playing. So it is what it is, man. So the Raiders have an opportunity, man.
But here's the thing. This offense of the Steelers, they can't look like a world beater against this Raiders defense. Like, that's got to stop. Like, if this is a middle-of-the-pack offense to below-average offense, make them look middle-of-the-pack to below average. Don't let Kenny Pickett go in there and look like he's a top 5 quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, get after him. I want to see more design blitzes. I know blitzes aren't the answer, but when your defensive line isn't generating any type of pressure, Patrick Graham, you've got to do something. We've got to come up with nickel blitzes with Nate Hobbs, which they tried last week. Nate Hobbs missed a sack on Josh Allen. That could have been a huge play. You've got to be able to hit on those. So,
you know what's sad? And I looked this up. The Raiders are 13th in blitz percentage, but we're 32nd in pressure percentage.
Oh my gosh, bro.
So I don't know if we should blitz a little bit more. We should throw in the towel. I don't know, man.
No, we need to make a trade. I'm going to pound the table, man.
But on the other hand, the Steelers defense are 4th in the league with 30.1% pressure rate, and they're 3rd in the league in sacks. And the way they do it, they're 2nd lowest in the league in blitzing. So they're getting there with their front 4.
Something that they wanted the Raiders to do, but that's not the case. I don't know, man.
Yeah, man. I could go over this stuff, man. It's some of it is kind of depressing. Like the Raiders are allowing 6 worst yards per carry with 4.9. So that's something that they got to clean up. The Najee Harris, I like them coming out. I thought he's a physical running back, but I'm not sure if he's playing all the way well right now for them. He played solid last game. I don't know. He didn't have a big game, but the opportunity here for the Raiders is Josh Jacobs can get it going. The run game for the Raiders can get going because the worst run defense in the NFL is the Steelers. They can get to the quarterback, but they cannot stop the run. They're giving up 193 yards a game, and they're literally giving up 5.6 yards to carry. So if this is a game where they can get it going, get their confidence going, let the O-line hit some people, and get that swagger back, this is the game to start, man. At home opener. This should be the Josh Jacobs coming out party. I'm not sure if it's going to happen. I mean, we'll see. But this is a good opportunity for Josh Jacobs to get his game going, man.
No, I agree. And you almost have to. But here's the thing, like, this cannot be a trend, like you were just alluding to. This can't be a trend. Like if Josh Jacobs is having negative rushing yards, can you believe that? Going into the game last week, if we would have said that Josh Jacobs is going to have negative rushing yards, you would have never believed me. Yeah. The fact of the matter is, man, up front, we've got to get after it against the Steelers. Let TJ Watt not even be a factor in this game. Put Thayer Mumford and Jermaine Illuminor over there and make it a nightmare. Just take him out of the game. TJ Watt can change this game in quick, fast. If he gets his hand on Jimmy Garoppolo, turnovers, we need to be able to run the football efficiently. So I'm glad that those numbers are what they are, because this is going to be a great reset for the Raiders offensive line.
Yeah, but speaking of offense, man, the Raiders are the worst in the league in scoring. Oh, they're averaging 13.5 points a game. They need to step that up. A lot of it has to do with last game. Obviously, we got blown out. The game before, we did win it, but it was like an ugly game. We didn't score a lot. But hopefully this is a game where we can get our receivers back, get Jacoby Myers back. Devontae Adams, he's cleared a concussion protocol. Get that run game going, and hopefully we can put some more points on the board. Because I do not want this to be a game where Jimmy G's dropping back with TJ Watt coming around the corner. Because, man, that dude is a monster.
Yeah, and his play style does not match up well with Jermaine Illuminor. This guy who can get a jump off the ball, who's a quick twitch pass rusher, has a lot of speed around the edge. Look, you've got to put – this is why I think you're going to see a lot of 12 personnel again, to be honest with you. This is why I also think you're not going to see a ton of Michael Mayer, because it's going to be that small blend of him and Austin Hooper, because they're going to have Thayer Mumford out there guarding TJ Watt. So – man, I think these guys that aren't getting the football, Hunter Renfrow, Michael Mayer, these guys could free up a lot of space for Jacoby and Devontae and lighten up the box for a guy like Josh Jacobs, who, let's be honest, last season, you could have loaded up the box and it didn't matter. Josh Jacobs was a man on a mission. He was making guys miss behind the line of scrimmage. He was leading the league in broken tackles and making guys miss. That's not the same running back we're getting this year. And we talked about this when it came to contract time. Are we going to get the same back? And historically, every running back that ends up gets paid that year after is always a down year for them. So we're only 2 games in, but it's clearly already a downgrade from what Josh Jacobs was last year.
Yeah, man. He, like I said earlier, and T. Severe went in. He hit it on the head, man. Like he doesn't look as fast. He doesn't look as quick. He looks out of shape. He doesn't look as explosive as he was coming into last season. Like when we seen Josh Jacobs in preseason last year, we're like, oh, this dude's gonna have. And when Josh McDaniels wasn't giving him the ball, like we were like scratching our head, like why is this dude not getting the ball? The way he's running the ball. And now, like a year later. It's crazy how like a year later we're giving him the ball. We want to incorporate him in the offense, and he's
hindsight's crazy, right? Like imagine if the Raiders would have inked him to a 3-year deal, and he's getting this kind of production right now.
Hey, he was right. Yep. Hey, man, I knew it, man. I knew it.
Well, when you said a Chiefs player intercepting Derek Carr, I was like, well, you could probably give one to at least everybody in the secondary.
Honey Badger, yeah, because he said safety for the Chiefs. Juan Thornhill got a few interceptions. I know Honey Badger did too. But yeah, man. Hey, man, we'll have a lot to talk about on our next live on Saturday where we get into like matchups and stuff like that. We just wanted to talk a little bit about the brief overview of the team and how the Steelers look. Offense, they're average. Defense, they can be dangerous, but they're a little beat up right now. And they have some weaknesses, some key weaknesses that the Raiders can take advantage of, especially the run game. The run game, this is a perfect game for the Raiders to get the run game on track. This is the worst team right now. It's only been 2 games, but they've given up 193 yards a game. I know the 49ers blew them out. McCaffrey ran all over them. And then obviously Nick Chubb, when he was playing, was pretty much running all over him. Even the backup, was it Ford? Not D Ford. Was it? It was the running back Ford. He had a good game against them, man. So they're having trouble stopping the run, and I think Josh Jacobs, Zamir White, and we'll talk about some other guys in a little bit too. But yeah, man, I guess that's a good segue, man. For oh man. In other news, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it, man. In other news, Tom Brady, man, hasn't purchased the team. I thought it was official back in when they announced that Tom Brady was going to buy the team. I thought it was official, or it was going to happen within the next few weeks. They're going to vote on it, but they haven't voted on it. And the vote's supposed to happen in October. There's still a possibility that he can still come back. Do you think he could? Is he done? Is he done? He's done.
Yeah, I think he's done. I think you could put the bow on the Tom Brady career. If he was to come back, it would probably be for the Raiders. Yeah. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I think I was just surprised that they didn't vote on it yet. Like that, I'm like, damn, like they're all the way in the season, and there's some opportunities where people are kind of like pointing, like, oh, he can go to the Jets. The Jets are ready to win right now. Not sure if he wants to do that at this point. But moving on, AFC West update. The Broncos and the Chargers are 0-2, and I love it.
Man, that just lifted my spirits, man.
I love it, man.
I love
it. Did you see how the Broncos lost?
Man, I seen they were up. Last time I looked at the score, they were up 21-3. Then the Raiders, I had to finish the Raiders game and all that mess, and then took a nap and woke up to a beautiful present of the Denver Broncos blowing a lead.
Literally, I was leaving the house, and I seen that it was like 35-2. The Broncos kicked the field goal and then they stopped them, got the ball back, but there was only it was like 9 seconds left. Like, oh, this game over. Like, nothing's gonna happen. And then I find out that they get a Hail Mary touchdown and then lose on the game tying, or I guess 2-point conversion didn't go through. And I'm not gonna lie, it did kind of look like a little PI there. They kind of let them play there, but it is what it is, man. I don't care. No sympathy.
No sympathy.
Ain't no sympathy. And another team I don't have sympathy for?
Oh yeah.
The hated Chargers, man.
Ugh.
The hated Chargers, man. They are now 0-2. And from what I'm hearing, Brandon Staley is having an identity crisis.
Oh, you know what? I hope that they beat like 2 NFC teams in a row because I want to keep Staley in house. You know what I mean?
He has to be the most overrated coach, and he's on the hot seat, rightfully so, bro. Like he
I don't even think he's
like one of the most
overrated.
talented rosters in the league, man.
Yeah, he is garbage.
He's garbage, and the reason why they're like they're saying that he's having an identity crisis because he's that big analytics guy. So he goes for it on fourth down. He's super aggressive, but he's not doing that anymore. He's getting gun shy. I think he feels the heat, man. He feels the pressure. And look, the Chargers 0-2, man. And they found a way to lose the game. I think they were up or they were about to win the game, and they pretty much lost the game against who they played. They played against was it Jaguars? No, that was the Chiefs.
That was the Chiefs, yeah.
Yeah, but the Chargers lose. They're 0-2. Who cares? And the Raiders, Raider fans, sometimes we find a way to sometimes be unhappy because after a loss, but we're 1-1. We're tied with the Chiefs, who actually won against the Jaguars. And
but that was not that impressive of a game, though.
Oh, you talking about the Chiefs?
For the Chiefs' perspective.
No, but you know what's different about the Chiefs? They got defense.
They've got a defensive tackle.
Nah, they played well without Chris Jones that first game.
Did they?
Yeah, at times I was like, man, like they're like out here competing. I mean, I don't know. They didn't look too bad. I'm not saying they're like one of the best defense in the NFL, but I just felt like, man, like they look good out here.
Chris Jones showed up and he made an impact immediately.
Oh yeah. But usually what it is with Chiefs, their defense takes a while for it to get better. They get better as the season goes along, but it is what it is. The Chiefs win. They're 1-1. They're tied with us, and we have an opportunity to build on our record next week against the Steelers, man. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it. I mean, we talked about we talked about the injuries with the Steelers. Cam Hayward is going to miss the game. Deontay Johnson and possibly Minka Fitzpatrick, but I think he got released from the hospital with a chest contusion. It is what it is. But we kind of saved this for the last. Raiders are one of several teams who are interested in trading for Cam Akers, running back Cam Akers for the Rams. He's talking to teams, or he wants to get traded. What do you think about that, man? Is this more about Jacobs or is this more about Zamir White?
Can he convert to defensive tackle? But to be honest with you, bro, like Zamir White isn't what they thought. But to be honest with you, I don't even like it's up front. It's these guys up front creating running lanes. And then T. Severe was alluding to it too, though. Like the whole strength of Josh Jacobs, his vision, being able to see cutback lanes, not running into blockers. These are all issues. So I think you could look at it as a blend of both. And if the Raiders are looking at other running back options, I'd be curious to see what Cam Akers' contract looks like. Is it a 1-year deal or does he have 2 years left? Because could this be the stopgap running back, the veteran back on the roster that gives you insurance if Josh Jacobs doesn't return? So I don't know, man. Cam Akers is one of those running backs as well that runs into the back of blockers. He hasn't really lived up to his potential either. Maybe a change of scenery would be good, but overall, man, it's a neutral meter for me. To me personally, who was it that we had in the preseason? Was it Damian Williams? Is that who it was?
Yeah, Damian Williams, and we actually,
I would go get him.
Weekend.
Oh, he got picked up by the Bills?
Yeah, he was with the Bills. That's why I was talking about.
I thought that was Damian Harris.
Oh, that was Damian Harris? Hold up.
I'm talking about the running back, the veteran running back. I believe it was Damian Williams, right? That's right. Man, go get him. If you're gonna go make a trade and give up draft capital, unless you're like trading player for player, like
what happens if it's a 7-round pick?
Whatever.
He's a 24-year-old running back, and he got some talent. I mean, he last season he went 3 straight games with 100 yards to finish the season. So there's some talent there. He's 24 years old. Maybe the Raiders.
What's his contract like though? Is this contract year?
Well, it's his 4th year in the league, so I'm sure he's on his rookie contract.
Okay, yeah.
So they're not going to be paying him a bunch. So if it's for a 7th round pick, I'm not gonna get like mad about it. I'm not gonna lie, like I'm not mad about it, but it is what it is. But I thought it was interesting though that Vinny, the Raiders insider, he kind of talked about that this was more about Josh Jacobs, because Josh Jacobs, he's saying that he's clearly out of shape. He's not playing well. He's a little slow. Like kind of like what we're talking about. Like he doesn't look the same out there as much. He said as much as the they're not running in. They're not as the O line is not run blocking as well as they should. He's kind of pointing to Josh Jacobs, and we kind of know that Vinny is kind of the spokesman, low key for the Raiders,
the unofficial official.
Yeah. So if he's saying it, that means the Raiders are saying it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting, but initially I thought it was like Zamir White, because Zamir White, I know you kind of been like, I don't know about Zamir White. He doesn't look like a guy that you want to be having starting. And he had a fumble against the Bills too. When
he looked good on like one carry, then it was like the second one he puts it in the dirt. I was like, oh, come on, bro.
Right. Yeah, that was Damian Harris. Hey man, sometimes man.
No, Damian Harris is the former Patriots running back that plays for the Bills. The one that we had though is Damian Williams, I believe.
Pyro in the building, man. Appreciate you coming through, man.
What's going on, Pyro?
This is a great show, man.
Yeah,
it's a smooth show, man. We talked about a lot. There was a lot to talk about. We're 2 games into the season. We're 1-1, tied with first place. That was a tough loss, but let's be real. I mean, it's not like we thought we were the most talented team in the NFL.
Yeah,
we know that the Raiders are probably an off season, maybe 2 away from being like a true elite contender if all things go right. And they got to go right. They've
got to hit on a quarterback. They've got to get a defense. Like they're still a little bit away.
Yeah, they keep it, man. The D line, like the fact that they went into the season thinking this D line was like gonna be.
I would, dude. I'm literally at the point though with this team. Like I would give up anything to get a good defensive player.
You said it again for a good defensive player.
I want a defense so bad.
Hey, you knew that the Bills were gonna lose, huh? I mean, the Bills are gonna win because you did some crazy bet. If the Raiders win, I'm gonna grow a
AOC mustache.
1970s stash and have a McDaniel's visor.
Yeah, you knew that happen. It was never gonna happen. Maybe I'll bring up that bet on a closer game at some point this year, but
we'll see. Let it be a closer game. Would be interesting. That'd be funny. But you got it to keep it real, because I'm gonna be tired of looking at that, man. Like this be like, be honest,
it'll probably be a 1 week thing if it happens.
Show, I'm gonna be roasting you every show. Every show. Glenn says Patrick Graham got softball questions at the presser. No one asked about why the defense sucked. Yeah, it is what it is, man.
That's to be expected.
I mean, like they probably are like they know what he's gonna say. It's just one game. It's only been 2 games.
And look, these guys too, they have to see them almost every day. You're right. Like, so it can't be, you can't just press all the time, because it's a relationship business.
Yeah, because they want to get interviews. They want to like get some, and some of these guys, like they probably tell them behind closed doors.
Guys, to be honest, very rarely do I watch the pressers to watch, content coming from the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna get much. You're not gonna get much out of those pressers. So I don't put too much weight on, why aren't you asking the tough questions? The tough questions and the tough conversations are what outlets like what me and Pharaoh are doing. You know what I mean? So you're not gonna get that many tough questions. Even the Chandler Jones situation, like they pressed at first, but now they're just beating around the bush with the Chandler Jones situation. So
yeah, no doubt, man. Hey, man, we appreciate everybody coming through. This has been a great show.
Yeah.
Hey, I feel like we didn't get to all the people in the chat. We were just too busy talking. Usually we like to get into the chat and we want to hear from you, and that's why we had the phone number up and we talked to Severe for a little bit. That was a good conversation. But that's why you guys can leave a comment. And make sure to like the video, leave a comment, let us know your thoughts. If we didn't get to your comment or in the chat, leave a comment down below. We respond. We look at every comment. You know what I mean? As long as you're not disrespectful, we're gonna be responding. Even when you're disrespectful, we'll let you know. We'll talk to y'all, man. We don't discriminate. And D-Menace got a reminder. Yeah, hit that like button on the way out, man. This has been a great show. Any thoughts, man?
Man, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you're subscribed to both channels.
Yes, sir.
And Saturday, man, maybe we'll have some game film to break down a little bit, to look at some specific matchups. We're going to be breaking down, the linebacker situation, how we can neutralize TJ Watt. I mean, there's a lot to get into, and it's a must-win game for the Raiders at home. So, yeah, man, looking forward to Saturday with you guys.
All right, y'all, man. We'll see you on Saturday, y'all.
The gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the 5 rivers.
Believe that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
Just win, baby.
Hello? You play to win the game.